أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين السلام عليكم. So I changed the front as we have finished Ramadan, so I think the good way to say it is the way to God. So inshallah from now on that's what we'll call it. So let's start with the first thing, with the knowledge and faith and belief. For today, for this part of the discussion, I will just go through the questions. Many of you who answered very nice answers, but also some of you gave me a hint that probably also some things in it not very well understood. So the first question, somebody asked Imam Ali alayhi salam, have you seen your God? Imam replied, how can I worship something I cannot see? But I see him with my insight, not sight. What is this similar to in our discussion last lecture? What type of questioner is the man? Who wants to answer? Shall I choose, or you guys just pop up and answer? Probably I can choose then. What about Amir?
He's the, out of the three type of questions, he's the one that cannot comprehend his almighty presence.
Right, okay. Is he the one who cannot comprehend, or the one who wants to see him with senses?
No, sorry, it's the other one, the one that he wants to be out of the world, wants to be free.
Right. And what examples in our lecture was similar to it? What was the in our lecture when we discussed it, we gave a simile. Do you remember the simile for that? Can you hear us, Amir?
No, you're cutting out.
Yeah, I think a loud noise coming.
What if there is a noise, we cannot understand anything?
Yeah, there is a loud noise. I don't know from where. I think somebody needs to mute. It's gone now, right?
It's gone now, yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. The simile we gave in the last lecture is the teacher and the student when he tried to trick them, telling them the noise coming again. It's gone. Okay. So has everybody understood the answer?
No.
No?
No.
That was Muhammad Hussein.
This no is from where?
Muhammad Hussein.
Muhammad Hussein. Okay. Right. Why are you laughing? That's not good.
No, I didn't even know.
I didn't hear anything with that noise.
Oh, okay. Right. Fair enough. So do you have the question, Muhammad? So the question is,
yes.
All right, excellent. So last time we gave an example with the teacher who tried to convince the student that because they cannot see anything, they cannot see God, he does not exist. And the clever student came and he convinced the other student to try to find the teacher mind.
I think Amir.
And because they couldn't see his mind, so he told them that, well, it doesn't exist. But we want to reach that not seeing or not sensing God does not, or not seeing or not sensing something does not mean that it does not exist. Is that clear, Muhammad?
Yes.
Good, excellent. Right, we'll go to the second question was, I love to be free in what I'm doing. Ouch! I've got a huge road traffic speeding fine. Why did they do that? What's freedom? Now some of you told me that question was not clear. Which is, well, fair enough. I didn't give you a straightforward question. But what did you get from it? I think I will choose Ghadir to answer that.
Well, if you have all the freedom, if someone has the freedom to do what they want, sometimes their desires can be something, bad. So when he probably wanted to go really fast, so he got a fine, and so they just, do what they want, even if it's bad.
Right. So how do we apply this on our life? Should we, or are we free in everything?
No.
And should we?
No.
Excellent. Why not?
Because if we're free to do what we want to do, we can end up turning the whole world upside down sometimes.
That's right. It will be chaos. Well done. Alright. In Kung Fu Panda, what did Master Ogway wanted to teach Master Shifu? Do you agree with him, and why? Well, whether yes or no. Now, Ibrahim Ramadani, did you see this part?
No.
No, okay, alright. Who saw it? I think I will ask Ali Shaban for this thing.
Well, I do agree with him that there is an accident because Allah has everything planned, and He knows everything.
Excellent. So you don't agree that there is accidents. Everything is planned, right?
Yep.
Good, well done. Alright. Now, the last question for this part is, logically, if there is a probability of danger happening, like high possibility for a harm to happen, we would take care. What would increase the probability of any danger? Meaning, what are the factors that make you think that the possibility of a problem happening is high enough? If you can give an example. Remember, we gave the example of you are going to a trip to the mountain, and you hear the news saying that a lot of ice going to fall. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So Muhammad Shabani?
Shabani.
Shaban, sorry, not Shabani. Sorry. Muhammad?
I don't quite understand the question.
You did not understand the question? Come on, Muhammad, you answered it beautifully. That's why I chose you. Alright.
Alright, can I read it again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like the shaitan, I think makes you think there's like the possibility of a problem is high enough. Maybe I think.
Right. So, for example, when you sit an exam, and the exam, it's not very difficult, but there is some difficulty. So there is a possibility that you may not do well in the exam. Would you prepare or not?
Yeah, of course you.
Okay. So what we are trying to say is, if for those who are not sure whether there will be Yawm al-Qiyamah or not, well, there will be a hereafter or not, is there a possibility that it does exist? Well, I mean, we have 124,000 messengers has come and told us. And even if they don't believe they are messengers, well, there's so many people have said that it does exist. So there is a possibility that it does exist. And if there is such a possibility, does it really worth doing something for it? I think it does. And that's what Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has used to answer the atheist. So that's why I asked you. It's from what we discussed last lecture. If you remember Imam Sadiq alayhi salam?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, I think we leave the belief now, and today, as I promised, we will do fiqh, because we haven't done enough in the last two lectures. So what are the fasting breakers, or the mubtilat? The first one is, as you all know, eating and drinking. So we should not eat and drink in the particular time of fasting. Now, this includes anything comes in from any route, whether oral or nasal. So if you want to eat through your nose, also it's not allowed. I know you don't do that. But if somebody force-fed you, also it's not right. Although that's a different discussion there. Right. So anything lead to substance pass through your esophagus. Do you know what's the esophagus?
No.
Who's this?
Ahmed Hussein.
Muhammad Hussein. Alright, Muhammad. I will bring some pictures to show you that.
So if I
All right.
the present, show me the present.
Oh, what?
Mouse. Point to it or something.
No, so something will come. Ibrahim tried to help me here. So, Muhammad Hussein, can you see this?
Yes.
Can you see where the arrow going?
Yes.
This is the esophagus going to your stomach.
Ah, okay.
So anything goes through that will break the fasting. But, so you can see that the nose from the back is connected. So if you put something in your nose and goes down to your stomach, also not right. But if you have this, beautiful, isn't it? so you push. Do you think it's painful to do that?
Yes.
Yes, but it's real. People wash their nose. Some people wash their nose like this. This is not a made-up picture.
Do that.
No, that's a real one. Yeah. So this one, if nothing goes to the stomach, it's okay. But nobody will. I mean, I hope you will not go there. All right. Okay. So it's okay if it was done. I mean, if you did eat something or you put your nose and you didn't know or you forgot, it's okay. So intention is the most important thing. This is what I want you to remember. Using the following will not break the fasting. First one, eardrop, because there is really no connection between ear and esophagus, so you can use eardrop. Eye drops also the same, no problem with that if you are fasting. Now this is tricky. If somebody who needs to go to hospital and they need to give him something in the vein, not a fluid, medication, it's okay.
But if it was fluid.
But if it is fluid, it's not. Also, if they inject in the muscles, and I hope nobody will inject 1 liter of fluid in their muscles, this is painful. But if they inject medication, it's okay. Inhalers are okay. So these questions can come, and fiqh has answered it. So eardrop, eye drop, intravenous, intramuscular, and inhaler, all okay. Now, this is the mouth. Muhammad Hussein, can you see that? This is the mouth space, and in the back here is the esophagus. So it's very important to know what's the mouth space, because there are some verdicts about it. So if there is any saliva in the mouth, you can swallow it, no problem. That doesn't break the fasting. But whatever comes from the chest, for example, when you cough and there is some sputum or some stuff coming, you should spit it out. Because if it comes to the mouth space, it should not go back. Is that clear? I haven't come to the zawah yet. Right, this is chest.
Oh.
Chest means from your lungs. Now what comes out from your stomach, for example, if you have a big burp, and I hope you don't do that, but if you do burp and something comes out, and you should not re-swallow that. It breaks the fasting. Actually, it's not nice to re-swallow it anyway. What happened?
The screen went blank.
Yes.
How can you re-swallow a burp?
When something comes to your mouth and you re-swallow it. I don't know what happened to my screen. Wait a minute.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Meaning about the re-swallowing of your burp.
Yes.
Whatever comes.
Yeah.
I reckon vomiting would break your fast. So what do you do in that case where you can't re-swallow anything, it's just in your mouth?
Because burping is not vomiting. We will come to vomiting. Burping, sometimes some air comes out. But if it is very large, it brings up some fluid with it. That by itself...
I can't hear anything.
Oh, sorry, I'll repeat that. The question was, if vomiting breaks the fast, how come this burping and bring something out doesn't? So burping is when some air comes out of the stomach. But if it is very large, it brings with it some food. This is not vomiting, and for that you just don't take it out, take it in again, just spit it out. So this is the difference between burping and vomiting. Alright, no worries. Now, the one after that is gurgling with water. It's acceptable if you want to gurgle with water, but if the water went to your stomach by mistake, it's okay unless, and this needs to be very clear. If you are doing it, if it is a hot summer and you are doing this to be a bit cooler, and it went to your stomach, it will break the fasting. So try to avoid that. We can brush our teeth and rinse thoroughly, although not recommended during fasting because there is a risk of swallowing it. To be clear, when we do that, we have to spit 3 times. So whenever you gargle or you wash your teeth or your mouth during fasting, spit 3 times and you will be safe. Flossing is highly recommended after suhoor. So you need to clean everything because there is a risk if some food left over between your teeth and comes to your mouth and you swallow it, that can break your fasting. So it's better to clean everything.
That says teach.
Teach. Oh, sorry. So here we are. I wrote teach rather than teeth, and my little C boy Ibrahim has got me here. So I do apologize. I'll correct it. All right. Any questions up till here with the mouth space? No? Good. Excellent. Right. From the above 3 breakers, we come to vomiting intentionally, like this man. I hope nobody will vomit that amount. But doing that, it will break the fasting. Allowing thick smoke or vapor to enter the mouth, like smoking, can break the fasting for some of our ulama. IV fluid, intravenous fluid, can break the fasting. And if we narrating lies about the Prophet or from the Prophet and his progeny, so if you say that, you give some verdict because you'd like to, and you said, this is from the Prophet, and it's a lie, that would break the fasting. Now, this is not for all our ulama. Some of our ulama say it's really bad to do that, but it does not break fasting. So it depends on who are you following. You need to check with them. For say Sistani, it doesn't break. Right. Immersing the body in water. That's the other thing. So that's why people during the fasting try to avoid going to swimming pools, because there is a risk that you can be totally immersed under the water. Now, even that, it's not with all scholars, but many of them would make it not allowed. The last 10 points, I think we will leave it for now. These are points related to the verdicts, related to the private parts and the private relations. For this, we will divide you guys to 2 groups, the girls and boys. Each one will go to a different room, and we will talk differently. So I do apologize. We are not going to talk about it now. Hopefully, either at the end of this lecture or next lecture, my wife will go to the other room and talk to the girls, and I will talk to you boys. I'll give you a hard time. No, not really.
Exactly how many girls are in this class?
It's you and Maryam.
Oh, okay, so just 2 girls. Huh?
That's right, yeah. But it's very important 2 girls. Come on. Alright. I think that's enough for today. We'll go to the last part of the faith. Today we will finish the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. But I will start again with the questions that I sent you. What will make the separation? Because apparently from your answers I can feel that we need to go a bit more. What will make the separation of wrongdoer's soul from this material world more difficult? If you remember, we said the connection to this material world, when we love things, when we get addicted to video games, when we get addicted to books, when we get addicted to food, separation from this can be really difficult. And that's what we talked about. So what will make separation of the wrongdoer soul from this material world more difficult? I'll ask Maryam to answer that.
So when you have a lot of materialistic desires and stuff, it will be harder to...
I'm not sure they are hearing you.
Oh. When you have a lot of materialistic desires and you do not want to leave them, it will be hard to leave this world itself.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good. If you remember, we said if we want to take the hair from water, it's so easy. So there is not much of attachment. If we want to take it out of dough, it's easy. Not as easy as water, but it's not difficult. If the attachment become like a branch of tree, we need a saw to cut it out. And these the angels doing that if we are so much attached like a branch of tree. If the attachment is stronger like this pillar, we need a hammer to destroy it. If it is really difficult like this, we need a bomb and fire and hellfire to get it out. So that's what I meant by the attachment. So we need, and you are lucky because you are young and your attachment hasn't built up to that level, so you need to work on it from now. But poor one like me, I have attachment that will be bombarded to get it out. So pray for me to not to be that bad. Right, after that we said in the Torah quest, and I put this, and I really wanted you to postulate about it. I know it's a cartoon movie, but there's a lot of thinking behind it. So in the Torah quest, from the episode 41 in the last gym, why did the monster turn against the guardian? And why did he die when they cut the connection hoses to the monster? I want to remind you of this. Remember, the monsters were attached to the guardian. He introduced them as they are his anger, hatred, pride, and envy.
Hate and greed. I said those.
It's okay. I have Sibawe give me correction again. And he was feeding them with these attachment hoses. But then when he touched the diamond, the illusion that he had has been cleared. So he could see the reality that they are his enemies, not really part of him. And the monsters also realized that he's not controlling them, so they try to attack him. So that's when somebody filled with envy, hatred, pride, it really destroyed him at the end. He tried to escape them, but he was so much attached here, and these houses kept him attached to this character of his. He asked for those guys to help him, and they cut it. But when they cut it, because this is part of him, he collapsed. That's exactly what I wanted you to understand, and that's why the questions were there. So it's very important, if we got to the answer of these questions, why did the monster turn against the guardian? Because the illusion that it's important for us will go. We can dream that our cars, our degrees, our houses, all is so important for us. We can imagine that this greed of being, not greed, but the love of being superior to everybody is not part of us, but really it forms us. So the only way to get out of it is to cut it now, otherwise it will be difficult in the hereafter. So that's what we tried. I'm hoping that I'm not frightening you, but it looks like I am. So let's continue with the hadith. Then he gives him, so fasting will give the believer aman, safety from the hunger and thirst in the day after, in the hereafter. How does it do that? So you fast here, and when you go to the hereafter, you won't be hungry or thirsty. The question is, how can you be thirsty or hungry there? What is the hunger and thirst in the hereafter? Well, you can see the first group, what are they missing? Ali Jabir, the first one, this group, they are missing food. You can see they are skinny. So there is no food there. They can actually, scientifically, they can survive for 6 weeks without food, and then we collapse. What about water? So the other one is missing water. How long can we live without it? For 3-4 days and we die. So this is in this material life. When we miss the food and when we miss the water, that's how long we can live, and that's the hunger and thirst. The question is, what's missing in the judgment day? How can we be hungry and thirsty? What can be empty in us? Why our cup can be empty? What do we do in this life to fill it? How can we fill our cup? Let's see that. Remember, I'm sorry, Ghadir, I put this picture again. I know you jumped last time. I'll cover it again. So our reality can be an animal, can be a Dracula, or can be a philosopher, or can be an angel. Depends on what we filled our cup with. So badness, I want you to remember something. Badness is the lack of goodness. So there is no reality for badness. To explain that a bit more, this is light, right? What is darkness? It's really the absence of light. If you are in a closed room and this room is filled with things, but it's dark, you cannot see anything. When you put the light, everything will come clear for you. So really darkness does not exist by itself, but it's the lack of light. So badness is the lack of goodness. I'll give you another example. Knowledge. What is ignorance?
What?
It's the lack of knowledge. That's how somebody can be ignorant. Again, generosity. What is stinginess? It's the lack of generosity. So badness is the lack of goodness. So let's see what can happen to our cup. So if in this life we fill it with knowledge, bravery, wisdom, patience, mercy, love, generosity, compassion, all of them, we will be full. In the hereafter, we won't be hungry, we won't be thirsty. Our cup is full. But if we are going to do the other thing, if we, instead of being knowledgeable, we are ignorant, doesn't exist, because it's lack of thing, cruelty, hatred, stinginess, insincerity, animosity, all of them does not fill. Our cup will be empty. In the hereafter, we will be hungry and thirsty. And that's why fasting will fill the cup. And that's why fasting will save us from the hunger and thirst of the hereafter. Is that clear?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Excellent. Alhamdulillah. We'll go to the sixth one. Fasting will give him the gift of being at distance from hellfire. How can we be at distance from hellfire? I think by now you understand what I'm talking about, and probably it will be easier for you. What's the fire for anyway? Why? Allah doesn't want to burn us. What's the fire for? To clear material dirtiness and filthiness, you need sometimes to clear something, isn't it? If you have those who works with cars, sometimes the car get rusty. When they clean it, actually they need some heating. And if you have a piece of iron with lots of rust, sometimes what they do, they put it in 1600 degree centigrade to melt it. This is hellfire. So it's melting all the filthiness and dirtiness in us. While if you have a diamond, it doesn't need that. So it depends how clear is, how clear are we, how much fire we need to clarify it further. And that's why fasting will make us at far distance from hellfire, because we don't need it. We are, inshallah, clear. And then we go to the last one, and he will feed him from the goodness of Jannah, of paradise. What's the goodness of Jannah? Now you're already full, aren't you? I mean, your cup is full. You are not going to be thirsty. You are away from fire. What else you want? It looks like there's more. When we reach the ability to have the everlasting joy, because just imagine if they just put you in a garden for a while, is that enough? Do you get bored after a while?
Yes.
I hope that you don't see Jannah as a boring thing. But it's not, believe me, because this is the everlasting. Just imagine if you fill your cup with everything and you enjoy that. It goes and you don't feel hungry, and Allah keep on replacing with a new one and a new one and a new one, a new test, a new fun, and new and everlasting happiness. And that's the beauty of being there. And that's all for today. So Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Any questions?
No.
No?